You know when you had a feeling that you felt and saw something coming, and once it finally does come around, you're like, oh, of course that's here. Of course that's appearing in my life in this way. And I kind of wish that I trusted my intuition a little bit more. And if I had, maybe I wouldn't have been so worried or anxious or curious, and I would have had fun and enjoyed it more. And regardless of what is happening, you just really start to trust yourself even more. It's kind of like that. This month is all about transformation and new beginnings. It's totally one of those months where you're also like, I'm really glad that I watched that energy update because now I get it. Now I get it. Not only do we have 2 eclipses this month, which that is just life-changing in its own. Eclipses can affect not only just those weeks around the eclipse, but also influence themes for up to a year later. So really, what is happening now and the way in which you understand and perceive what is happening now and how you take action may set the foundation for what you experience for the next year and of course then years to come. So not only do we have the solar and the lunar eclipse, we also have multiple alignments, including Pluto, which is usually so far away from us, coming as close as it's been for eons and years and like lifetimes. And while that can be a little bit scary because it is the planet of destruction in order to create new, it's death and rebirth, it's also incredibly empowering and powerful if utilized correctly. This energy of the Scorpio, the scorpionic energy, which of course I'm a Scorpio, really holds its power when it is harnessed, utilized, and channeled most intentionally. So just knowing that these themes are present, including letting go and transformation, allowing for things to die so that things can birth anew, and I'll get into more of those, but just knowing this information lets you understand and more so lean into the transformation that's happening so that you don't fight it, resist it, and need for it to spiral back around years later. Just like get it cleared, taken care of now, and then you will be on your highest timeline. So whatever the fuck is showing up for you this month and is like, I am ready to be released, whether it is toxic people, toxic habits, even your career altogether, the way that you present yourself, the way that you offer, the way that you receive money, the way that you present yourself in relationships, if something huge is asking to be released and let go of, allow for it to happen. And it most likely won't just be something little, but something big and life-changing. The astrological energies are supporting this. So the more that you allow yourself to just trust it, the more you will be rewarded. So 3 significant days of the month of October are October 14th, which that is the solar eclipse, which is going to bring more light, and that may be a blast of light in a dark area where there is a shining brightness that is kind of piercing and perhaps a little bit difficult to actually look at, but allows for a shift and a transformation and new life, new light to grow. Notice that that will be occurring probably around the 14th, and then there's going to be another transformation on the 28th, which is the lunar eclipse, and also the 22nd is a really significant date. So we have the 14th, the 22nd, and the 28th. Now with the eclipse on the 28th, we want to remember that eclipses create shadows to again bring a new light. It's a reset. Eclipses are often like unplugging from things to plug it back in, where it's like, oh, the charger's not working. Okay, just take it out of the plug and then plug it back in. It's like, okay, now it works. Or even something that you do, you're tired of it, or you need to do it in a different way. This eclipse energy may create a shift where you're like over something, completely over it. And you're just like, no, I completely give it up. I let go of it and completely unplug. That may lead you to a new path. It may also spiral you back around at a perfect time and alignment to where you're like, okay, I'm ready to plug back in. All right, this is it. I see it in this way. This connects. Now it's easier. Now it flourishes. So allow yourself to unplug and reset if need be. Let yourself go into the darkness to explore the mystery, the unknown, and know that you will be brought back to the light. You will. And also very quickly, that's often how eclipses work, where things may get kind of ripped or stripped out of your life in kind of an intense and chaotic way. But again, it is to cut and complete the expired, things that perhaps you were attached to or too connected to, or there were too many energetic cords associated for you to be able to actually do it yourself. The eclipses come around and it kind of just severs those cords. And though it may kind of hurt and be a little bit painful, we need it. Pluto only removes what needs to be removed, as do the eclipses. So again, with this energy combined, it's kind of like, just fucking let it go. Just let it go, let it go. It is beyond you. Send it to God, trust it, know it, and so it is. There are also some astrological alignments and energies of peace coming through here with this Virgo energy, where she is the Virgin, and she also brings grain, which is representative of harvest. Like the energy is finally coming to fruition. There's a harvest, something that has been brewing, building, and cultivating can finally come to fruition and can finally birth. And again, as we consider this energy together with the eclipses and with the Pluto conjunct, it's kind of like this chaotic intensity energy that has been building up is finally going to come to fruition and perhaps even create this chaotic, dramatic fall in a way, especially in the government and structural systems. Things are going to be shifting and falling. The expired is going to be destroyed, dismantled, and completely recreated. Now, that may happen in a very physically intense way, or it may just happen energetically intense, where we see things, we understand things, and things come to light that perhaps were hidden for a long time, and just kind of shift energy and perspective. So as this comes through, it's most likely that the people will be reacting and responding in a different way, where it won't be so attached again and connected and victimized to the point where it's like we actually are able to have our own sovereignty, our own power, our own presence as a people, as individuals as well. There's a strength of sovereignty coming through this month that feels really good and again is really empowering through the chaos. So allow yourself to be strengthened and fueled by the chaos. I always say it is not just pleasure, but it is also pain that makes me more resilient. I become stronger and healthier through both the pain and pleasure. Now, I prefer pleasure. Let's just also make that known as confirmation, affirmation. I prefer the pleasure path. Thank you. Yes, and so it is. And yet always, when needing to experience things of pain and non-ideal situations, that I also can receive the divinity and the strength through that as well. And with that mentality, then you have the ability to actually channel your energy intentionally. I also just made this Unlock Your Inner Alchemist meditation, where I teach you and guide you in a meditative experience to actually unlock and channel your energy to where you actually want to distribute it, because that is one of the most powerful things that you have access to as a human, is to be able to acknowledge and then intentionally direct your energy, channel your energy accordingly into what you want to create, what you want to access, what you want to be a part of. I'll leave the link below if you want to check that out. And with that, how you decide to take action, the way that you discern your truth and you decide to take steps next, that theme will most likely amplify and impact you for, again, weeks, months, perhaps a year to come or more. So it is really important to, again, be aware of this and also not stress, not worry. Know that it's going to work out fine. It's going to be best case scenario. And whatever is meant to occur will occur. So a few things that are good to consider throughout this month, considering all of the themes, all of the astrological alignments, are: 1, not everyone is ready and willing to hear your advice. This is not really the month to be oversharing and overgiving of advice. Everyone is going to be going through their own transformation, and therefore it may not be healing, or it may not be the medicine to have this solution and project it and try to overgive and oversolicit advice when it is not able to be received. Again, most likely everyone's going to be in their own process this month, which we all need to do. Many of us need to unplug so that we can reset and then plug back in again in a new way, perhaps a new position. So it's not really the space to be receiving too much advice. Of course, if people ask you for advice and they want your help and assistance in that way, of course, 1000% be of support, be of service. If you feel like you have the energy and if you feel called to, then definitely do so, because people will be needing it. But don't overgive it where it's not desired. There will most likely be many options presented to you this month. With all of the change and transformation and pretty much everyone going through their own version of it, there are going to be lots of shifts and therefore lots of new options that present themselves. So with this, make sure that you are again being very intentional and choosing intentionally. This is not the time to be like, oh, whatever, just kind of like in my shadow or like this or that, or it's not really like my higher self decision, but I'm just going to make the choice. It's not the time to do that. No, let's be very intentional and be like, what would my higher self do? What would my higher self do? Okay. And so it is. Yeah, that is the choice. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to trust it. It's kind of scary, or it's intense, or it hurts, or it's painful, or I don't know what the fuck is going to happen afterwards, but I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust it. That is the answer. With the energy of letting go and transformation, it's important to remember that when something is pulling away from you, let it go. Do not hold on to, do not cling to. Trust that whatever is being pulled away from you or is pulling away is meant to happen. Let it go. Again, it may not be that you lose it forever, but that it just itself unplugs and resets and therefore is able to come back in an even better way. You want this change. You want this transformation. So support it in every way that you can. Push past your fears of, oh, I'm losing, or oh, this is scary or unknown. Push past them. Do it this month. You have the strength. You got this. You got this. In a way, it may feel like you are letting go of a part of yourself. And again, that is a good thing. You will always return in the ways that you're meant to. So try to balance between surrendering and also taking control. It's kind of like this new authentic dance, and rhythm is beating in your heart and emanating, and your body is finally feeling it. Everything is finally coming into congruence, and this new dance is finally able to be the dance that it is. This month is also really good, as dramatic as it sounds, to leave your career, to change careers, to shift the way that you offer and receive financial support, as well as just service, the way that you are in service. If you feel called to shift this month and something comes through like, I think it's supposed to happen, it most likely is. There's an essence of ending what you don't like, what doesn't resonate with you, what is not for you any longer. We have to evolve. That is really our purpose here on earth, is to love, experience, enjoy, celebrate, and evolve as well. And so this is a part of it. That's that hard part. And when we allow ourselves to let go and surrender to what is actually needing to be taken from us so that we can be birthed with a new light, then we don't have to go through experiences that are so intense that then create that scenario that we weren't allowing to happen previously, and then have to experience something that's unideal or inconvenient or whatever. Instead, just let it go through this process. So even if you do feel like you don't know what you'll be doing, but perhaps want to shift out of it, obviously be smart, take action intentionally, and be smart about what you're doing, but also make moves. Maybe get the fuck out of there and get into something new. Start exploring new things immediately. This is the shift that you've been calling in. And the last most major theme for this month, kind of saved the best for last, which is kind of a good vibe. So if you watch through this, then you receive the gift, which is also kind of the theme, is that our rewards are returning. There's a beautiful energy of that which we have been feeding into, fueling, investing into, our love, our attention, our creativity, whatever we've been creating, will finally come to fruition, where we are finally being rewarded and receiving the harvest, the benefit, the replenishment from that which we have been feeding into. So pay attention to what is finally coming to fruition. It may be something that you used to love and you're finally coming back to it, or something that you used to do in a certain way and you're realizing that was the way. It's important for us to explore and expand through trying new things, yet sometimes we are redirected back to being and doing something in a previous way in a new energy. And perhaps we needed to just unplug and reset. So Maybe you're unplugging from something else and plugging back into something that you were once plugged back into. Something that you used to do or create, or even a relationship, or something that you used to be. A part of yourself is again returning to yourself. And whatever is returning to you does carry a very significant potency that again has been curating and building. So it may be perspectives that shift you into a completely different situation. It may be that you are starting something up again in a business or a hobby or a career. It may be something that you're going back to or you're shifting out of and doing no longer. Whatever it is, allow for this transformation to happen because it will ascend you to a next level of yourself and a new version of yourself, as well as a new reality entirely, and for months, years to come. This is the transformation, so good luck to you. Again, you got this. You have the energy. You're only given what you are strong enough for. You are so protected and supported and divinely guided. So trust it, enjoy it, and let this new dance, this new rhythm beat through you. Focus on the fact that you are taking in so much light and transforming in such a beautiful way that whatever else is happening is just of a grain of salt. It is nothing beyond just a simple thought. Instead, you are present with this light that you are cultivating, experiencing, and the good, the beauty that is coming from whatever is happening. May it be effortless for all. As always, sending you so much love. And just a little side note, of course, we're also getting into Scorpio season, which means that my birthday is coming up. My birthday is also on the eclipse, October 28th. So definitely going to be a transformation. I'm ready for it. It's been a year already, so I'm ready for what's to come. And just know that if you do have specific Scorpio placements, check in with what houses they're in, because that energy will be greatly affected through this eclipse. You totally got this. As always, sending so much love, and I'd love to hear how you're doing, how you're feeling, how you're thriving in the comments, and infinite blessings to you always. Namaste.